fan and I blow it out to the ground. Because I want you to understand what I believe our Father in heaven, the one that created you and made you, smells when we sin. I think it stinks. To the God that made you and gave you life and gave you a plan to live it, and He explains how to live, how we need to live our lives in His Word. I think it stinks to Him. I think it's gross. I think He's just like, oh, it's not what I planned. That's not the plan that I had for you. I did not intend for you to go down that road and do those things that ultimately will shipwreck your life. And there are many slippery slopes. And I brought a magazine here. How'd you know? Is it getting worse? I brought a magazine. Someone tonight said, why'd you bring People magazine? I brought it because of this image on the back of a young lady in a bikini and a guy with his hand scantily placed across her belly. And clearly she's been to core camp because she has a great core. But the reason I brought this is because for many people in this room, ladies, possibly you will look at this and maybe for you, the first thing you will say when you see an image like this, on the back of People magazine. We get People magazine at my home because my wife likes it because she likes to keep up on all the Hollywood peeps. Anyway, I have a 10 and a 12-year-old. So this is sitting, and you get down with a magazine, what do? You throw it down. Now you see this image. Ladies see this image and they think, does my body look like that? Do I measure up? Do I have the kind of form that people will think is cute or hot or sexy or whatever you think in your mind? When you see this image, ladies, many of you will think, do I measure up to that? Tremendous pressure for you, ladies, to look a certain way. I don't even know what that is because I'm obviously a guy, but I know it's powerful, and I know it's hard, and I know as you're growing up and going through the years, there's horrible stories out there. My daughter lives long. Do you guys remember the story I told about my daughter last time I was here? Her body doesn't look perfect as a 10-year-old, so kids are making fun of her. If you ever make fun of my daughter, I'll punch you right in the face. But here's the deal. Guys, you look at this and you think, oh, wouldn't I like to have a lady just like that? I'll come over here because somebody over here wants to be the speaker, so I'll just stand right here and talk because then it'll be really obvious who it is. But anyway, but guys, we look at this and we think, wouldn't it be awesome to have someone that high in our arms because then they would be ours and we would control them and they would be ours and we could be next to them. And our minds start to go really fast because the image sticks strong in our mind and we think, oh, that would be fantastic, Jake. It'd be fantastic. Is there anything wrong with that image? Well, maybe. But the problem is, just that image could easily lead you down a path with your thought life that's destructive. Ladies, thinking about your body in a way that you don't measure up, which God never intended. God said you were fearfully and wonderfully made in Psalm 139. I knit you together in my mother's womb. You are so fantastic. Memory verse from last week, Zephaniah 3:17, that I sing over you. I'm so geeked out, excited about you, that you're beautiful, that I love you, because I saw you in the womb of your mommy, and I think you look incredible. Ladies, that's what God says to you. And the world you live in might say something else about how your body looks or how your looks are. But the King that sits on the throne says you are beautiful and wonderful and fearfully made. You're perfect. You're incredible. I dare say that's not a message you get from the culture you live in. Guys, we think about ladies a lot of times in the wrong way. We live in a culture where, and I brought another prop, real quick. I'm going to be done by about 10:30, so I'll wrap up here. This is my computer. We know the power and the damage that this instrument can do. We know that for many of us, the thing that trips us up the most isn't the back of People magazine. We know for some people in this room, in fact, probably a lot of us in this room, that we are one click away from looking at things that damage the image of the ladies in a different way that God intended. One click away. You're going on there, you're like, Sports Center, blah, 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 here's my stocks, and now I'm rich, or whatever you do online, that's what I do. And then all of a sudden you see an image, and you're like, click, oh, click, and now you're into a site, and your mind is going, and now you're starting to view ladies in a way that God never intended for you to view them. and will mess you up relationally because you will view them as objects of pleasure instead of a person you're supposed to have a mutual relationship with. Do you see that? It's a slippery slope. One click away. One click. From the pollution coming into your mind that smells like stinky dog turds. Another thing I brought tonight is a thing that was a little bit awkward to buy. But I went up to Albertville and I bought some beer, Bud Light. They have the coolest commercials. And personally, I don't drink beer, even though I'm over 21, obviously. But for many of us in this room, this beverage easily is probably one of the things that when we go to parties, trips us up the most. This beverage. And it's cold and it's frothy and I mean, we see all this stuff to make this beverage. I don't drink beer. I've never been drunk in my entire life. I've tasted beer 3 times in my life. Once was at a German wedding, once was in front of my students because I thought it'd be cool, didn't work out so well when I was a youth pastor. And then there was some other time where it was actually a couple months ago, I tried we were out with some hockey players and they're like, Jake, how come you don't drink? I'm like, let me try it. And I sipped it and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't even taste that good. So, but here's the deal. People think you have to have alcohol to have fun at a party. People think that you have to have alcohol to be cool, to loosen yourself up. Here's what I tell them. I've never been drunk, and I have way more fun than you will ever have at a party. I don't need alcohol. God made me kind of insane, so I just go around and act that way, and I have more fun, and I never regret it. I've never been inebriated. And I'm not saying if you have, you're some horrible, rotten person, because you remember what I said. I'm a Christian not because I'm better than you. But I know that drinking alcohol is not a sin. Drinking alcohol for you is. Because we live in a land that says you have to be 21. So those of you that drink, it's a sin, but bigger than that, it's a probably not that harmful of a thing to take a sip of beer and have a can of beer. But the point is, at your age, and you know this, it puts you in an environment where more sloppy, icky, stinky things can happen quickly. You show up at parties with people where their reputation is sloppy, icky, and stinky. Alcohol can be a slippery slope. There's a lot of other things I want to talk about tonight, but we're out of time. I wanted to share with you a couple of verses from the Word of God. I hold in my hands the best-selling book ever in the history of the world. I also hold in my hand a copy of the most historically accurate document on the planet. Hands down. This book contains more facts about history than your history books. I guarantee it, and I can prove it. And if you don't believe me, call me up or drive your butt up to Albertville, and I'll tell you. You can go to the outlet mall, get some sales, and then come across the street to where I live. But this book is more accurate than any other book on the planet. Hands down. Period. You can say, I don't even believe in the Bible. Doesn't matter. It's accurate. So if it's that accurate, and so many people are buying it, might it say something cool for our lives? Huh? So, we're going to look at it. Hebrews 3:13 says, check this out. I'm going to stand up so you can see it. Ready? Woo! That's right. Amazing balance because I'm an athlete. Check this out. But encourage each other daily while it's still called today. A little humor. Like, well, how often is daily? Is it still called today? Yeah, because it's today. 4 people in here got it. Everyone else is doing this. That just shut down my whole CPU. Like, I don't understand. Central processing unit is a computer. Okay, back to the Bible. Hebrews 3:13. Check this out. But encourage each other while it's still called today, so that none of you is hardened by sin's deception. Sin's deception. Students, listen to me right now. You will be faced tonight when you go home, tomorrow when you wake up. All kinds of choices. I know, and you do too, because you smell it, that sin stinks. There's a verse in the Bible that says, as a fool returns to his own vomit, it's like as a dog who eats its own vomit, which is disgusting. These turds came from a certain animal here in this town that eats its own turds. Is a fool who returns to his own folly. So when we go back to the things that trip us up, listen to me right now. When we go back to this, the Bible calls us fools. I don't want to be called a fool. God said you were fearfully and wonderfully made. I created you. I put eternity, it says in Ecclesiastes, that God has set eternity in the hearts of men and women. Which is a beautiful thing. My concern for you as young high school students is that you do not shipwreck your lives by making damaging decisions, by rationalizing the sin that's in your life. We picked on a couple. There's gossip. How many people hate it when you know you got trashed by someone? How many people hate it when you walk out of a circle and you look back and you know they're talking about you? I hate that. It makes me angry. I want to punch you in the face. It's not right. But how many of us stop that when we start doing it? We walk out of practice and we're like, I hate my coach. My son's 12. He's doing this right now. He doesn't like his coach. By the way, I don't either. He's kind of a jerk. Verse of the week, Psalm 119, verse 11. I'm going to close with this. I'm going to pray for you, and then we'll be done. Thank you very much for listening. Those of you that haven't, you're a jerk. Just kidding. Sarcasm. All right, check this out. We're done. All right, here we go. Last verse of the night, right from the verse, Psalm 119. Oops, I mean 111. Psalm 119:11, our verse of the week. I just heard that yawn. That was, for any speaker, when you hear this yawn from the crowd, you know you're really striking a chord with the crowd. All right, so check this out. I want you to remember this because you're going to memorize this right now. You are. All of you. Get excited. Oh yeah, it's going to happen. I have treasured your word in my heart so that I might not sin against you. I have treasured your word in my heart. I have treasured your word in my heart. Turn to the person next to you and say that right now. Go.
I treasured your word in my heart. I have treasured your word in my heart. Have you treasured your word?
Now I want you to emphasize I have treasured your word in my heart. You have to say it like that.
So that.
Say it.
I may not sin against you.